Zaheer and Grymlynn, and Zaheer is going to be going out with the Link, and I am always excited to get to cast some Link.
This matchup is also going to be very interesting. Rocking it with PS2, mainly the most neutral stage that we've seen so far. Rapidly, Grymlynn just maintaining that first blood distance for 35% of extra credit right there. What do you think of this matchup, Kimona?
Honestly, I think that what you were talking about, Grymlynn getting out to that lead and kind of staying aggressive when things feel a bit more even in the game is going to be really important, because when Link starts getting a lead, he has a lot of ways to kind of challenge Ness air-to-air where a lot of other characters can't, and if he stays grounded, you know, Ness is going to have to try to find a way to land on him, and he's also got a lot of great anti-air options. And right now, as the game stays even, right, we do see Grymlynn getting a little bit more aggressive, trying to stay up close to the Link, but we do see Zaheer with this Link, right, trying to maintain a lot of stage control on the other side of things.
Yeah, holding the PSI magnet just off the distance, and obviously we're going to see that a lot whenever it comes to yo-yo edgeguard situations with Ness. Overall, 103% now actually sending them right to the side. Bombs are going to be pivotal for Link's recovery, as we're seeing another break and beautiful recognition right there on the up special, actually delaying it and confusing Grymlynn.
Not only that, I was about to bring this up when I saw that yo-yo come out the first time. Normally, that's a pretty free edge guard for Ness, and Grymlynn does have to worry about a couple of mix-ups that Zaheer has. First of all, we already saw that bomb recovery, but second of all, that up special, that hero spin is so, or the spin attack rather, is so big on that recovery. You might get scooped while you're trying to find that yo-yo and get reversal, but nonetheless, it is going to be Grymlynn taking that first stock, and now things can slow down a little bit. When you have a definitive lead, if you can make the Link come to you, you're going to have a much better time as the Ness, and look at the damage that we see Grymlynn getting just off of that idea.
Yeah, combinations, and I think Grymlynn is actually feeling a little saucy this time around. The hero spin, as you mentioned, Kimona, is going to take it, pretty much tying it up. Only 43% of extra credit is a good lead, but something that you really want to rack up a little bit more.
I'm interested to see the way that these two are also playing around these platforms right here at the start, right? They both want to be able to use that to set up their projectiles and try to get some stage control going by forcing their opponent elsewhere. You see that Zaheer can't just stand right on that Pokeball, has to respect the PK fire and give up a little bit of that stage when Grymlynn's up there. But on the other hand, when Grymlynn gets up on that platform, Zaheer also kind of has the same problem.
Yeah, so far so good. Now, the Link maintaining the stage control right on the outside. PK Thunders are going to come out, try to, and a get-off-me situation. Up special is going to come out. Back throw is not going to be enough. One of the best in the game, so, but too low percent for the Link as of right now. Grymlynn actually trying to battle it out with the stage control, but Link is trying to be as close to the middle of the level as possible.
Yeah, again, that stage control is just going to be so crucial for Zaheer to keep up that momentum. Up air will send Zaheer into that top blast zone, though, and that is Grymlynn being able to play a bit more grounded. And again, with the lead, which has gotten a little bit bigger than that first stock. Misinput on the forward smash goes unpunished, though, and this is what I want to see. Can Grymlynn stay aggressive when the Link is off stage, especially with the lead?
Up close and personal is definitely the name of the game if you're a Ness main, and we're seeing Grymlynn actually taking that Link right out the outside. A couple of fairs this time around, just using PSI Magnet to land on the platform. Using so much coverage, the down smash with the yo-yo once again is going to be followed up. So Zaheer's doing a really good job of not falling on those edge guard situations by Grymlynn. He needs to step it up when it comes to his offense, though, because there's a one-stock advantage.
Yeah, I mean, recoveries be darned. I mean, the defense has been great, but like you mentioned, yeah, offense definitely needs to step up for Zaheer right here, using that bomb to make up some space, but Grymlynn immediately going to that platform and going unpunished. We haven't seen Zaheer kind of fight Grymlynn for the control of those platforms too often. The big commit once again goes unpunished. Zaheer's just a kind of one beat behind Grymlynn in a couple of these times. Really gotten him into hot water.
A little bit of a deer in headlights Zaheer is looking like. Actually, Arbs' smashes are, and yeah, definitely Grymlynn is feeling very confident. A two-stock lead with 110% advantage. He knows that Link is actually struggling to get those KOs early. That's why he's actually being a lot more overzealous when it comes to his aggression and actually setting up that same tempo. Like you mentioned, Zaheer is actually having a little bit of difficulty actually keeping up with Grymlynn's offense.
And again, part of that is that we just haven't seen Grymlynn get very aggressive, hasn't tried to initiate a whole lot of openings, and to that end, Grymlynn's been able to play very safe, very counter-hit heavy, and, you know, get a lot of these big hits off of, you know, maybe a small mistake here, a small mistake there. But like you were mentioning with this lead, we see Grymlynn get to go for a lot more of these big reads, big options, big commits that normally you can't do, but playing with the lead, and especially against a Link that's not punishing those big reads and the really laggy moves, you do get to go for them more often, and if something goes well, you get to win spectacularly.
Yeah, Ness doesn't have a problem with actually going up close and personal, just throwing out every single punch that they possibly can. Link is definitely gonna try to step it up in this game too. I believe that would be the key to actually get some offense going, because the reality of the situation is that some of the walking and the spacing that Zaheer has been doing can pay dividends if he actually gets some more offense in.
And the key, right, is establishing that offense. Here on Battlefield, you might have the ability to take some more stage control, and especially if you get the lead as a Link, it's going to be really hard for Ness to catch you if you don't want him to. But that's where I want to see Zaheer be more confident in this game, too. Get aggressive, get up close to this Ness, and have faith that you're going to be able to hit your confirms just like this right here. Again, off of that boomerang, it was a great read to hit it. Could have gotten even more off of it, and I like to see Zaheer trying to get a bit more aggressive right now.
And we're seeing it right there, Kimona. A couple of nairs this time, sending him to the left side for 92%. Now a grab for the edge guard situation. Second jump was already used by the Ness. The Peaky Thunder is actually going to clank with the boomerang as it was coming downward. Another forward throw done by the Link. Another edge guard situation, but Grymlynn is doing a really good job of just using that get off me, pick a Thunder tool.
And some small bits of spacing here from Grymlynn, trying to get back into the zone of the Link, but a beautifully timed forward tilt from Zaheer does put the Tri-State Link on top. And now again on Battlefield, it's going to be really, really hard for Grymlynn to catch this Link if Zaheer just wants to be able to play, like you said, with that nice spacing.
Yeah, the platforms are going to be the name of the game, especially for Zaheer whenever they're going to recover. So it's doing a really good job so far. And like we mentioned before as well, Kimona, the aggression that we're seeing from Zaheer, it's actually stepping it up this time around. The fair is barely going to miss on the mark, but he's been using those beefy up Bs a lot in this set. They need to be careful not to overuse him, because Grymlynn can punish with a fair if he actually catches him.
And that is exactly what we saw, putting Zaheer in a little bit of a tricky situation, but now piling on the pressure with those boomerangs and really punishing Grymlynn for trying to go to those platforms. No drag down combos, but reads that jump to that platform. Again, both of these players love to play up there, and a lot of the punishes have been key, specifically for preventing them getting up there.
You're doing a really good job so far. Zaheer is 84% of extra credit with only a 1%. It's pretty much an 83% differential, but now the momentum is starting to feel into Grymlynn's favor. Obviously, up special is going to be the get off me tool for Link, setting up this situation one more time. The left trump is not going to work out that time. 103%, looking pretty comfortable for Zaheer. It's going to be important for him to keep the pressure but not overdo it.
Oh, and one jab, didn't get any punish on the roll afterwards, but it was a nice reset and does continue to maintain the stage control. Looking for still these forward tilts, but Grymlynn has started playing around them off of the ledge. Now has the Link above, and again, this is safe for the Link at the moment, but at these mid percents, all of a sudden, Ness can start turning that into big combos. Almost had the read after the down tilts as well.
That's a problem you're going to have if you're facing Ness, but we're seeing the Link actually capitalizing with the bomb, taking the stock advantage this time around, Kimona. Now a little bit of a reverse from the first game.
Yeah, we definitely get to see things slowed down a little bit, right? And, you know, we're really playing just like a chip and small punish kind of game, especially on the lines of Zaheer, where it's just, okay, one or two hits here, all of a sudden this Ness is at 57%, and with this kind of lead, you can go for a couple of big reads like we saw Grymlynn doing in that first game, and again, you can see this game end spectacularly if Zaheer kind of goes at this Ness with some confidence.
Yeah, and part of the reason why he's been doing so well this second game is because he's establishing the tempo from the beginning. Zaheer is actually making Grymlynn play at his pace and not making sure that the Ness is actually comfortable with actually going up close and personal. The up smash is going to cover the directional air dodge into the ledge. It's not quite going to be enough to actually take Link's stock, but he needs to get something going, otherwise we're going to game 3.
And, I mean, Ness can do spectacular things on that last stock, but the first thing in question, like you said, you've got to be able to take that stock. With the pressure that Zaheer is putting on, it's just not giving Grymlynn the opportunity to get a clean opening. And a lot of these landings, again, on these platforms, Zaheer's been all over it, and one more up tilt will be able to close out that game 2. It's a 2 stock for the Ness in the game 1, and this time it's the Link with the 2 stock. So as we go into that decisive game 3, Chopper, anything can happen here.
Yeah, definitely counterpick of stages are going to be the name of the game. It's pretty much going to determine who's going to live and who's going to die, send him to loser's bracket this time around. And it has been all about tempo, Kimona. It's been basically just making sure that Ness does not keep the gas on the pedal and finding ways to actually keep him away as much as possible, because you do not want to get up close and personal as Link versus Ness.
You do have a lot of safe options, but you need some space to be able to get them set up. And so a smaller stage could be a really big boon to Grymlynn, but we do go back to Pokemon Stadium 2, which is a stage with plenty of space, but we did see Grymlynn have a lot of success here. And honestly, compared to Battlefield, I mean, it kind of feels a little bit more open, but against Link specifically, you don't have to deal with him hurling boomerangs, and especially the boomerangs from Zaheer, also the bombs, also the arrows. You have a lot more space to make sure that you don't get chipped away at by the Link, and then you get your one opening, and you can do a whole lot as Ness, and that's the way that Grymlynn started this one off.
Yeah, feeling super comfortable right now on Stadium 2. The open space really paying off when it comes to his offense. And Grymlynn is doing a really good job of just maneuvering around. The thing about the Battlefield platforms was that since they were so close together, Grymlynn, I felt like he was uncomfortable when it came to actually switching up the levels of offense and defense, switching from vertical to horizontal. Whereas now we're seeing Zaheer actually try to get some stuff going, barely missing the sweet spot onto that up smash. So Grymlynn actually doing a really good job of just racking up that damage again.
And that kind of attack is free every time the yo-yo comes out at the ledge. And again, we're seeing the deciding factor here in this stock might be one of these players just struggles to take it and, you know, really secure, capitalize on all the damage they built up. And in this case, it's Grymlynn who got off to pretty much 100-0 lead at the start, and instead might be the one to drop that first stock because Zaheer is hang tough.
Yeah, getting a little too overzealous when it comes to those smash attacks, Kimona. Actually trying to throw those out. Feels like he's struggling a bit to get this stock, and maybe it's showing a little bit. Nevertheless, the dash attack is going to be enough to do it for that time. So Zaheer, a little bit of a disadvantage. If he can get that right there, he can tie it up.
Yeah, just chopping him up with that spin attack. We've seen it plenty of times. And honestly, for both of these players, I feel like what we've seen more than anything is that they both really just want to respond to what their opponent is doing, right? If they make a mistake, they want to capitalize. And you made a big mistake right there. Zaheer is fortunate to be hanging on to that stock, but Grymlynn still gets to play with a whole lot of percentage after.
Yeah, and a pretty good job of actually maintaining the resources, using the bomb to actually go onto the stage that time. 160% is a good differential up smash. First one that we're seeing actually hit Kimona, and that's because he actually used it as a burst option that time. Not quite telegraphed for the Ness, and so far maintaining stage control is exactly the position where Grymlynn wants to be in after that up air.
And I mean, just a really good response right there from Grymlynn, a situation where the boomerang was coming back towards shield, but Zaheer didn't try to challenge the Ness with the boomerang coming back. That could have been a free opening for a Link, but instead just tried to play it safe, see if Grymlynn would make a mistake, and instead just ended up staying cornered as a Link when you kind of had your teammate coming back for you, and that's why Zaheer is kind of playing from behind on this last stock, and only one left if you want to stay in the winner's bracket. Got to start putting in some work.
So far, so good this time around. The Ness finding the space, throwing out those PK fires and maintaining that distance. Sharking the name of the game one more time. PK Thunder gonna miss, but again, we're seeing that Zaheer is actually trying to go out, but yeah, I think he's been going way too out, Kimona, because he's actually sacrificing a lot of the stage control that he's actually gaining because of the distance that Link can give you in the first place.
Ooh, that sour spot back air into the sweet spot back air was so crispy clean, and Zaheer pays the price. Actually got the double jump taken in the middle of that combo.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, it's going to be Grymlynn taking that final stock and doing so with low-key just a really nice combo. I like that.
It came out towards the spacing from the Link. We did see that he was actually trying to maintain as much distance as possible, but eventually just Grymlynn caught him with one of those PK fires to set up the beautiful combo just to close it out right at the end. So a really good job, and hope Grymlynn can continue this momentum up, and maybe we can see some more upsets along the way too.